If you're over 60, there's one everyday habit that could silently raise your risk of a deadly stroke. Not when you're running, not when you're driving, but right inside your own home, on your own stairs. Imagine this: you're steady one moment. Then suddenly, your leg slips. Your words disappear. Your mind goes blank. No warning. No pain. Just a terrifying silence your body doesn't know how to answer. As a neurologist with over 3 decades of experience, I've seen too many older adults suffer life-changing strokes. Not because of smoking, not because of junk food, not because they skipped the gym, but because of how and when they used the stairs in their own home. Yes, something as normal as walking upstairs, especially at the wrong time or with the wrong habit, can quietly push your brain into danger. Now, I know that might sound shocking. After all, haven't we always been told that movement is good, that stairs are healthy, that staying active is the key to aging well? That's partly true. But here's the reality. It's not just what you do. It's when and how you do it. In this video, I'll walk you through 9 surprisingly dangerous stair habits I've seen over and over in my patients. Habits that increase your risk of stroke, falls, and blood clots overnight. So if you live in a house with stairs, or know someone who does, stay with me until the very end. Because the most dangerous habit of all is the one almost nobody talks about. And before we dive in, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and if you're watching this for someone you care about, send it to them. One share could save a life. It's a quiet evening. Dinner's done. The TV hums in the background. Maybe you've read a few pages from your favorite book. And now, like you've done for decades, you start climbing the stairs to bed. Seems harmless, right? But what if I told you that climbing stairs right before bed might quietly raise your risk of having a stroke while you sleep? I've seen this pattern far too often. A perfectly healthy older adult goes to bed feeling fine, and then, hours later, wakes up unable to speak, move, or worse, doesn't wake up at all. Let me tell you about Mr. Henry Lawson, 78 years old, a retired fire chief, proud, active, didn't smoke. Every night after dinner, he climbed 14 steps to his bedroom. He thought it kept him fit. But one morning, his wife found him slumped on the edge of the bed. His speech was slurred, his right hand limp. He had suffered a major ischemic stroke during the night. His brain scan showed a clot had formed in a narrowed artery. The late-night stair climb, combined with poor hydration, vascular stiffness, and his body's natural nighttime dip in blood pressure, had created the perfect storm. You see, when you climb stairs late in the evening, you activate your cardiovascular system at the exact time your body is trying to slow down. That sudden burst of effort can spike your blood pressure and cause micro-damage to aging vessels, and that's where clots begin. The scary part? There's no warning, no pain, maybe just a little breathlessness, then sleep, and sometimes you don't wake up the same. So, instead of climbing stairs right before bed, try going up at least 30-60 minutes earlier, preferably after a light dinner and a full glass of water. Let your body stabilize before sleep. Because the goal isn't to avoid stairs. The goal is to protect your brain, and the timing of your climb might make all the difference. You grab the railing. One foot steps up, then the other. You're climbing the stairs like you've done 1,000 times before. But here's the part you might not notice. You're holding your breath. Not on purpose, not from fear, but out of habit. A silent, unconscious reflex. Your body tenses. You push through. And somewhere between the third and fifth step, you stop breathing. It feels like strength. But inside your body, it's setting off alarm bells. Doctors call this the Valsalva maneuver. It happens when you hold your breath during effort. And for someone over 60, especially with high blood pressure or heart disease, it can be dangerous, even deadly. Let me share the story of Mrs. Carol Mendez, 76, a retired teacher from Kentucky. Every day she climbed the stairs in the morning and again at night. But lately, she felt a little lightheaded by the 8th step. Not dizzy, just a bit foggy. Then one Sunday, she collapsed halfway up. No warning, no call for help. Her CT scan revealed the cause. A blood vessel deep in her brain had ruptured. The trigger: a sudden, dangerous spike in blood pressure caused by breath-holding. That one simple reflex was all it took. Here's the science. When you hold your breath while climbing, chest pressure rises. Blood struggles to return to your heart. Your brain gets hit with a wave of pressure. And if your vessels are stiff or fragile, something can give. Instead of holding your breath, breathe out as you move upward. Slow, steady breaths. Use the railing. Let your breath set the pace, not your pride. Because strength isn't pushing through without oxygen. It's protecting your brain with every step. There's a moment that happens in many older adults' lives. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it sounds like this: I don't need the cane today. Or, I'll skip the railing. I've got this. Have you said that before? For some, it comes from pride. For others, from the fear of looking weak. But here's the truth. The thing you're avoiding might be the only thing protecting your brain from a stroke. Let me tell you about Mr. Thomas Riley. 81. A retired Navy mechanic. Still sharp, still driving. His daughter had given him a beautiful cane with a wooden handle. He rarely used it. "Makes me feel old," he said. One night, arms full with a sweater and a cup of tea, he climbed the stairs without the rail. On the third step from the top, he missed. Not a dramatic fall. Just a twist, a stumble, a shoulder against the wall. He thought he was fine, just shaken. But by morning, he couldn't speak clearly. His right hand hung limp. A clot had formed in a neck artery, triggered by the fall. It had traveled to his brain during the night. This is what we call a carotid dissection, a small internal tear, a silent setup for stroke. Instead of thinking, "I don't need the support," think this: the rail is not a crutch, it's a shield. The cane isn't surrender. It's smart strategy. Using support doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're protecting what matters most: your balance, your brain, your independence. Because the only thing worse than looking old is losing the ability to stand on your own. Morning should feel peaceful. A fresh start. Maybe the scent of coffee in the air. The quiet of a new day. But for older adults, those first 10 minutes after waking are more dangerous than you might think. What's the first thing you do when your feet hit the floor? Some stretch. Some sit. But many, especially those with a routine, head straight for the stairs. And that's where trouble begins. Let me tell you about Mrs. Ethel Graham, 79, a retired florist. She lived alone in the same home she and her husband built. Her plants were upstairs, and every morning she climbed the back staircase to check on them. It made her feel independent, capable. One morning, just minutes after waking, she rushed up those steps like always. No water, no food, no pause. At the top landing, her legs trembled, Her face flushed. Then everything went dark. We later confirmed it. A stroke, caused by what we call the morning surge. See, after age 65, your body doesn't adjust as fast. When you first wake, your blood pressure rises naturally. Add dehydration and sudden exertion, and your arteries, already stiff, struggle to keep up. That surge can push a silent clot loose, and your brain pays the price. So instead of rushing into action, sit for a moment. Drink water. Stretch. Let your body wake before you ask it to work. Because strength isn't about speed. It's about knowing when to move and when to pause, especially when your life depends on it. Sometimes the danger isn't in what you feel. It's in what you don't. Have you ever stepped on a stair and felt like your foot wasn't quite there? Maybe it slipped just a little. Maybe you didn't fully sense the edge. If you felt that, you're not alone. Many older adults live with a condition called peripheral neuropathy. It dulls the nerves in the feet. It's common with diabetes, past injuries, or even certain medications. But here's what most people don't realize. When your nerves go quiet, your risk goes up. Let me tell you about Mr. Stanley Green, 75, a retired lineman from Ohio. Tough as nails, hands like leather. But his feet? They'd started going numb. He brushed it off, thought it was age or tight shoes. Still climbed to his basement every morning to feed his cat. One morning, his foot slipped, just a little. But he didn't feel it. He didn't react. And that's what made it dangerous. He hit the railing hard, then rolled backward. He didn't think much of it. No major injury. But that night, he couldn't speak. His right arm wouldn't move. A stroke. The fall had caused trauma to an artery in his neck. A clot had formed and traveled to his brain. Instead of thinking, "I'm fine," think this. If your feet are numb, your body can't protect itself the way it used to. So wear shoes with grip. Use the rail. Don't climb alone. And most importantly, talk to your doctor about nerve testing. Because when you can't feel your step, you lose your best defense. And by the time your brain notices, it might already be too late. It's a familiar scene. You finish your morning coffee. Maybe take a pill with a sip of water. Then head upstairs to grab something from the bedroom. Sounds like routine. Sounds harmless. But what if I told you that climbing stairs right after caffeine or certain medications could trigger a dangerous surge in blood pressure? Especially for someone over 60? Let me explain. Caffeine stimulates your nervous system. It tells your body to release adrenaline, the same hormone that spikes when you're scared. That raises your heart rate and constricts your blood vessels. Now, combine that with medications like decongestants, diuretics, or energy supplements, or even heart pills that alter how your cardiovascular system reacts. Then add one more layer, the stairs. That climb demands a quick cardiovascular response. But if your system is already under the influence of stimulants or meds, you create what I call a silent storm. Your heart races, your vessels tighten, and clots, if they exist, may get pushed into motion. Let me tell you about Mrs. Hilda Raymond, 74. Took a natural energy supplement after her coffee, then climbed the stairs. Halfway up, she felt flushed and breathless. By the time her daughter found her, she was struggling to speak. Her blood pressure had spiked. A clot had traveled to her brain. Instead of climbing stairs right after taking something, wait 30 minutes. Drink water. Sit upright. Let your body adjust. Because what seems like just another part of your morning routine could quietly become the spark that triggers a stroke. And your brain deserves more than a rushed reaction to a rushed morning. It's 2 or 3 in the morning. The house is quiet. You wake up, maybe to grab a glass of water or check something upstairs. You don't turn on the light. After all, you've walked these stairs for decades. You know them like the back of your hand, right? But here's the truth. Your brain and balance aren't the same at night. As we age, our reaction time slows. Our night vision fades. Our ability to sense where we are in space, called postural control, gets weaker. And when you climb stairs in the dark, half awake, your brain is at its most vulnerable. Let me tell you about Mrs. Clara Watkins, 82, a retired nurse, independent, witty, and proud. She used to check the upstairs thermostat around 3 a.m. every night. Never turned on the light. "I know my way," she'd say. But one night, she missed the 3rd step. Didn't fall hard, just twisted a bit. Sat down, caught her breath, went back to bed. By morning, her words were slurred. Her hand wouldn't move. She'd had a stroke. The sudden movement in the dark, combined with dehydration and a natural drop in blood pressure during sleep, had triggered a clot to shift. Instead of saying, "It's just a few steps," turn on the light. Use motion-activated nightlights. Keep water by your bed. Sit before standing. Because your staircase doesn't care how well you know it. In the dark, your brain is guessing. And one misstep can change everything. And the worst part? It often starts with a whisper, not a crash. We all have slow weeks. Maybe you were feeling under the weather. Maybe your knees were acting up. Or maybe you just stayed downstairs to take it easy. There's nothing wrong with rest. But what happens when you go from days of little movement to suddenly climbing a full flight of stairs? Your body might not be ready, and that can be dangerous. Let me tell you about Mr. Daniel Mercer, 80 years old, a retired school bus driver. He caught a cold and rested downstairs for nearly a week. Then one day, feeling better, he decided to go upstairs and reorganize the closet. He hadn't climbed those stairs in 6 days. Halfway up, he felt pressure in his head. Not quite pain, just wrong. By the time he reached the top, his leg buckled. He collapsed. In the ER, we found a clot had traveled from his leg to his brain. A stroke. What happened? While resting, his circulation slowed. Blood pooled in the lower body. Muscles that normally help pump blood back to the heart went dormant. And when he finally exerted himself, that clot moved. Instead of jumping back into movement, start slow. Stretch. Walk on flat ground. Drink water. Let your circulation catch up. Because the stairs will always be there. But your brain might not recover if you rush. Recovery isn't just about feeling better. It's about moving wisely. So your first step back doesn't become your last step forward. Dinner's over. The plates are cleared. You feel full, maybe a little sleepy. Then you remember. You left the window open upstairs, or the light on, or the laundry to fold. So you stand up and climb. But here's what most people don't realize. Climbing stairs right after a heavy meal can quietly rob your brain of the blood it needs. Let me explain. After eating, especially a big or salty meal, your body sends more blood to your digestive system. That's normal. It's called postprandial redistribution. But for older adults, this shift can leave other parts, like your brain, temporarily short on oxygen-rich blood. Now imagine your heart suddenly has to pump harder to climb stairs. But your blood's already busy helping your stomach. The result? Your brain gets left behind. Let me tell you about Mr. Albert Jennings, 83, retired hardware store owner. After roast beef, mashed potatoes, and a glass of wine, he climbed the stairs to close the upstairs window. He made it halfway before his legs gave out. No crash, no call for help. Just a slow collapse. He survived. But the stroke damaged the part of his brain that controls speech. Instead of rushing upstairs after eating, sit. Wait at least 30 to 45 minutes. Let your body finish one task before starting another. Because digestion is a demand. Stair climbing is another. And your aging circulation can't always do both at once. The window can wait. Your brain can't. By now, you've heard the stories. The quiet routines that turned into emergencies. The harmless habits that changed lives. So the question becomes, what should you do instead? Because avoiding stairs isn't the answer. But respecting them, that's where your power lies. Let me tell you about Mrs. Violet Harris, 77, a retired music teacher. Her husband had a stroke on the stairs one morning, and she was terrified. "Doctor," she said, "I'm afraid to move." We sat together and built a safer routine. No fancy equipment, no major renovations, just smarter choices. Now here's what I told her, and what I want you to remember. First, timing matters. Avoid stairs right after eating, waking up, or taking stimulants. Let your body stabilize. Second, support is wisdom. Use the rail. If you have a cane, use it. That's not weakness. That's strength in action. Third, light saves lives. Install motion-activated lights. Keep hallways visible. Fourth, go slow. Never climb in frustration, distraction, or fatigue. Rest halfway if you need to. You're not being lazy. You're being smart. Fifth, move daily. Don't let your body fall asleep from too much sitting. Gentle motion helps prevent the clots that can do harm later. Sixth, fuel right. Eat lighter meals at night. Stay hydrated. Avoid salty, fatty dinners. Your blood flows better when it's not working overtime. And finally, listen to your body. Dizziness, numbness, shortness of breath. These aren't annoyances. They're messages. Don't wait for the scream. Respond to the whisper. Because after 60, every step you take carries more weight. And every decision you make about movement becomes a message to your brain. I'm protecting you. So ask yourself, not out of fear, but out of wisdom, what step can I take today to stay standing strong tomorrow? If you've found value in this message, I'd love to hear from you. Share one thing you're going to do differently. And if you know someone with stairs in their home, please share this with them. It might save their life. Thank you for spending this time with me. Let's keep protecting the one thing that holds every memory, every word, and every moment we cherish: our brain.